Hey everybody, Drew here for Games here on YouTube.com, coming at you with another episode of what used to be known as the D&G show, but that was when I was calling my friend who's joining me via the PlayStation Network, Gucci, who is now going to be called CD going forward. So welcome to the newest episode of the D&C show. How you doing, CD?
Doing great.
How's your day been going?
Pretty good. Work went great. Had a good meeting with my advisor, and things are going well.
Good. What have you been playing lately, since we generally talk about video games on this show?
I've been playing a lot of the Show 21 and Golf 21.
So PGA Tour 2K21.
Yep, and the Show 21.
Well, yeah, we all know what that is.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of golf games, but there's only one Major League Baseball game in town, so
Technically there are two, but the other one's not as good.
That's why there's only one in town, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, on today's episode, I don't have an outline for it. This is solely based on what Gucci wants to talk, what CD wants to talk about. God damn it. I already fucked up the line.
Mm-hmm.
What CD wants to talk about, that being Hades is out on PlayStation, or will be soon, I should say.
And the buyout of Bethesda to Microsoft.
Yeah.
Not buyout, merger.
ZeniMax getting sold to Microsoft, yeah.
Mm.
Which is the parent company of Sony. Let me just bring up in the background. First thing we're going to be talking about, which is Hades, which is coming to PlayStation.
And starting the Switch?
It was, I believe, actually on Steam first, then it went to the Switch, I think. But it's also coming to Xbox as well, so.
Well, that's good for Xbox owners.
But it's going to be in Game Pass, which means that you don't have to buy it on Xbox. Just download and play it once it's out.
Nice.
Yeah, so on the one hand, if I want to stream playing it at that point, I will be able to, because I have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. So.
Well, it looks like a decent game from what I saw in my play.
Yeah, it is fun. It's got an interesting story to it, and it's one of those fun games, which coincidentally games should be fun. And I'm looking at you, Neil Druckmann from Naughty Dog, whom has said in the past that games aren't supposed to be fun. Well, fuck you. Yes, they are, you stupid ass.
Now, how much does Hades follow the lore of Hades?
I have no fucking clue whatsoever.
Have you played it?
The game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've played some of it, but I haven't played that much of it, though.
Gotcha.
I think I played maybe an hour of it, maybe if that, on the Switch so far.
Oh, okay.
But with that being said, anything else that you want to discuss about Hades before we get to the main event?
Sure.
Like what?
It looks sort of like, it looks easier, but at the same time sort of like Diablo. Is that correct?
Sort of like Diablo. Let me try to remind myself of what the hell Diablo is. Because I know the name. Oh,
Diablo.
Oh, yes, I remember now. I have one of the games on PS4. That's the Reaper of Souls that I have on PS4. So, To a degree, yeah, but it's got a slightly different art style, though. It's more colorful.
It looks crisper.
Yeah, yeah, that's another, well, that's actually a better way of putting it, I think,
Yeah.
at
And
this
it looks
point.
like you can do more in like upgrading your house or whatever they give you in the game.
That's a fair point.
And then, how tough does it get as you play it?
Like I said, I haven't played more than an hour of it, so you're asking the wrong person.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Anyway,
for,
that's what.
from from what I've played, I haven't really noticed, but like I said, I'm not that far into it, so.
Mm,
And even if it
anyway,
is tough, it would still probably be very rewarding to get through the tough parts too, so.
yeah.
And just to remind people that Hades for PS4 comes out August 13th of this year, so.
And from what I saw in my player, it seems to have a lot of the lore of Hades, so that's at least good.
I'm just trying to look up when it comes out for Xbox. It's the same day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And it's $29.99 for Xbox as it is on full retail for actually it looks like for the PS4 you can pre-order it digitally for $24.99. It looks like at retail stores like Walmart, Target, and so on, the physical copy is $30.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
And then I'm guessing there's probably a lot of ways to play in the game
Uh, I don't know.
with choices and whatnot throughout the game.
We'll see. I have to get back into it, so.
Yeah.
But with that being said, Hades is going to be fun to play on Xbox from Game Pass when the time comes. Otherwise, I have it digitally for the Switch anyway, so.
Oh,
Because I bought it when it came out for the Switch, so. But beyond that, anything else about Hades before we get
talk about
into.
Bethesda?
Yeah.
Not really. I saw a bunch of it on my play. Looked decent. Don't know if it's my type of game, but looked fairly playable.
Alright, so with that said, are you ready to talk about Xbox and Bethesda?
Yep.
Alright, so let me bring up something in the store to play as the background here. And there's only one thing to bring up, and that's Skyrim as the background. Alright, there we go. So, as everybody knows, earlier this year, well, actually, at some point last year, it was announced that that ZeniMax Online was being bought by Bethesda, or by Microsoft, I mean. Yeah, Bethesda's buying their parent company. Yeah, right. ZeniMax was being sold or selling their assets and their studios and whatever that comes with uh, to Microsoft, i.e., Xbox. Now, since then, since the announcement, the deal actually became official, and then that was announced. So now it is official. Bethesda and all of their studios that work with them, like Arcane, id Software, Machine Games, and so on and so forth are all under the Microsoft and Xbox banner. That meaning Starfield, as it was officially announced with a release date during Microsoft's E3 stream or showcase or whatever you want to call it this year. It is in fact going to be on whatever platforms Microsoft has Game Pass on. That meaning PC or Xbox consoles.
What does this?
What's that?
So what does this mean for PlayStation players?
Well, PlayStation doesn't have Game Pass, so it means exactly the way it sounds. Starfield is on systems or platforms that have Game Pass on it. It is as it sounds. That means Starfield isn't going to PlayStation.
It sucks for PlayStation owners.
But this also means that Microsoft is competing with Sony again as well. So, in the big picture, this is a good thing for competition.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it does suck for longtime fans who only own a PlayStation. But at the same time, there's also a lot of people who own both as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel the only ones who really will be hurt the most are like Sony ponies, for example, or PlayStation fanboys who rage at Microsoft like on the internet going, Xbox sucks because it's got no games. Well, now it has Starfield. It's got no games. Oh, what about Starfield? It's got no games. Are we going to do this all day?
Well,
that's
basically
what it's like. Yeah.
Yeah. Couple problems I have with this merger or buyout. I don't know which one you want to call it. But,
I'm going to call it a buyout.
Buyout. My main problem with this is normally when a company buys out another company, the quality of the game diminishes substantially.
Well, if you look at how quality of games are for multiplats, usually one platform suffers and the other it's not as bad on. But when a game is generally on only one platform, in my experience, it seems to work a lot better than if it were on like for example, when Skyrim came out. It came out for Xbox 360 and PS3, but the PS3 port ran like ass. The 360 port was perfectly fine as far as Bethesda games go with their bugs.
Mm-hmm.
But do you see my point here?
Yes, I do. But the things I see is like when SimCity was bought by EA.
Yeah.
That wasn't exactly a good thing.
That's true. It has to be on a case-by-case basis then. Because not everything is going to turn out the same as everything else. Like you were saying with Sims and that whole situation, when the next Sims game came out, it did not run well at all because it was internet based only. If the internet didn't work, it didn't work.
Same with SimCity, the main title for Maxis.
But at the same time of like PlayStation owners like having an issue with like future Bethesda games or machine games or Arcane Studio games. Well, first of all, there are certain games coming out that are still coming out for PlayStation first from Bethesda because those deals were made before the deal with Microsoft, like Ghostwire Tokyo and Deathloop. Those games are still coming to PlayStation first. So those games are still timed exclusive to PlayStation 4 or 5 or whatever PlayStation that they come out on now. So it's not all terrible as far as I'm concerned, but I see some people's points of, well, this means that I can't play those games. Well, if first of all, if you play on PC and PlayStation, you can still play those games. You can just play them on PC then.
Mm-hmm.
There's
if
no,
you have an updated PC.
to a degree, yeah. But still, they're on PC, so the option is there for you if you play on PlayStation and PC. If you only play on PlayStation, yeah, that would be a problem. But you can't fault Microsoft for doing something to try to get you to buy their system, though, or to buy into, or to buy into their ecosystem, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
This was a stroke of genius for them, getting arguably one of the biggest things that you could get in the Elder Scrolls series at that point. Then,
so then, what does this mean for PlayStation? Well, what do they have to do to counteract this?
well, first of all, Sony would need to do quite a bit to compete with Xbox Game Pass at this point because they have nothing, because PlayStation Now is not an answer, because you largely have to just stream those. You can't download most of the stuff on there because that's PS2 and PS3 stuff. And in the case of like newer games, Sony does not release day and date their new games into PlayStation Now. So long as Sony's not doing that, they're going to be behind on Xbox Game Pass for a long time to come. Because Microsoft releases like for example, Forza Horizon 5 is going to be launching in a Game Pass on launch day of the game. Starfield is going to be in Game Pass on launch day. I assume this means that Elder Scrolls 6 will be in Game Pass when that comes out in the future as well.
Well, with Horizon, PlayStation has an answer to that with Gran Turismo.
Yeah, but that doesn't go into PlayStation Now at launch. You have to physically buy that. You don't have to do that with first-party games on Xbox.
Right.
You can just download and play them if you subscribe to Game Pass on launch day. So you're not spending $60 or, God forbid, if you're on a next-gen system, $70 for these new games. You're just downloading and playing them because you're already subscribed to that service. Which that service in Game Pass Ultimate, which includes xCloud, Game Pass for PC, Game Pass for console, and EA Play, which is Electronic Arts' vault of games like the older Madden games, older FIFA games, and the Battlefield series, the Star Wars Battlefront series, and so on and so forth. So you get a lot for your Game Pass Ultimate subscription on top of Xbox Live being included with it. What do you get for PlayStation Now? Just a bunch of old games. And most of which you can't even download.
Yeah, and which makes it hard for PlayStation right now to compete with Xbox. So PlayStation is going to have to do something substantial coming up here.
Yeah, but given what the head of Sony PlayStation of America has been saying, they're not going to do any of that. They're going to stick to what they do. So, and that
at this point is almost nothing.
Yeah, which all they do is generally charge you upfront for the game. You get the game and then you play it. That's basically Sony. Meanwhile, Microsoft is trying to save you money on games. But anyway, this isn't supposed to be a Game Pass sales pitch or anything like that. This is supposed to be talking about Bethesda, Elder Scrolls, Starfield, and Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
So questions you might have.
One question I have is Elder Scrolls, it's been known to be in both platforms. Is it going to be still the case, or is this a done deal for Microsoft?
We don't know 100% sure because nothing has been officially confirmed about Elder Scrolls other than Bethesda is going to be making it. That's all that they've confirmed. That they're going to make it when they get around to it. That's all that we know. However, you don't spend $7 point whatever billion to acquire a company to put all of their games fucking everywhere either.
Right. So my guess is it's probably going to be not for PlayStation.
That's what I'm expecting, but also I've been seeing this on the internet that some PlayStation fanboys have been basically saying, yeah, Elder Scrolls has never been exclusive to any platform. Well, you're wrong, first of all. Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, when it came out on console, it was on only one console. It was also on PC at the same time, but it was only on one console, and that was the original Xbox. And to this day, it has never come out for any other console ever. To this day. Now, when Elder Scrolls 4 Morrowind came out, it came out first on Xbox and PC. Then later it got ported over to the PS3, like a while after launch. So when the Elder Scrolls made its console debut, it was not officially declared exclusive, but it wasn't on any other console either. So technically it wasn't exclusive at that point. Despite the case did not say only on Xbox, even though that was the only console you could play it on. So for people to say that Elder Scrolls has never been an exclusive to one console, yes, it was at first. Then eventually it went to multiplat. Now it's seeming like it's back to being an exclusive for Xbox like it used to be.
What about Fallout?
Fallout has never been an exclusive to my knowledge. Well, outside of the early days before Bethesda bought it from Black Isle Studios to basically acquire like the actual ownership of the IP and the franchise. But before Bethesda, it was only on PC. Then when it went to console, it came out for Xbox and PlayStation. What this means for Fallout, who could say? Because Fallout 5 is even further out than Elder Scrolls 6 at this point.
And hopefully we won't have another online exclusive Fallout like we did a year or so ago.
It needs to be in the vein of Elder Scrolls. I don't mean that. I love Elder Scrolls. I mean, I misspoke. I don't mean Elder Scrolls. I mean Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas is the type of Fallout game that Fallout 5 needs to be.
Which one was the one where you were in Massachusetts?
That was Fallout 4. That was
a lot of people like that game.
I liked it. It wasn't great. It was somewhat lackluster compared to 3 in New Vegas, but it is what it is. Speaking of things that are out now, you can go to the very channel that this is on right now, or, well, that this will be on once this episode gets uploaded. You can go check out the Drew That Games podcast episode 26. It is live, public, and on the channel right now, fully uploaded and cleared everything on YouTube. And it's about the top 5 games of 2021 so far. Desert Nord and I also get into one of the founders of Rockstar left Rockstar and started his own game studio. And also we got into a bunch of game deals for Steam and Xbox as well. So if you haven't checked that out yet, CD, you might want to do that.
Right.
But anything else about Bethesda?
Yeah, a couple things.
Yeah.
How, I know I talked about this earlier in the show, but how do you suppose PlayStation goes about competing with Bethesda and Microsoft now?
They did recently acquire Blue Hole Entertainment or whatever they're called, and they basically have done like remakes and other things like that. So that was actually a good get for them. They did also acquire the Spider-Man developers like last year or whatever it was.
So, can they get into Marvel games then?
What's that?
Can they get into Marvel games then?
Well, first of all, they are already supposed to have an exclusive character, Spider-Man, for the Marvel game, but no one's playing that fucking game anymore anyway, because it was so lackluster anyway. But and secondly, Marvel died with Endgame anyway. So to shackle yourself to a dead name at this point would be kind of silly for Sony to shackle themselves to Marvel when less and less people are giving a damn about the Marvel brand anymore. Does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm. And what about DC Universe then?
DC hasn't been relevant in years. If you're asking me, which I think you are, what's the one thing that Sony could do that's on the level of Bethesda? First of all, Sony ain't going to be able to do it because part of their service is already a part of Game Pass, and that's buy out EA. And secondly, Sony doesn't have the money to do it anyway. Because that's going to take more money, I think, than it took Microsoft to buy Bethesda and ZeniMax.
At this point, PlayStation should hope for a buyout from another company like, dare I say, Disney.
Disney will never fucking do that. They'll bow down at the altar of China before they do that.
Yeah. That'd be a move for PlayStation to find somebody to buy their company.
Well, first of all, Sony isn't going to sell PlayStation anyway. We know that as a guarantee at this point. They'd rather go out of business than sell PlayStation to anyone. So, but a major move would probably be getting Grand Theft Auto 6 as an exclusive, but it's the only thing I could think of. But that's just one game. What Microsoft did was basically acquire anything that the publisher of Bethesda Softworks, if you will, actually does. But keep in mind that this does not mean that any future content for like Elder Scrolls Online is exclusive, because it's not. All of that is still on PlayStation as well. Like the recent released Blackwood expansion, that is also on PlayStation. So not everything stays on Xbox from ZeniMax and Bethesda. Some stuff does come to PlayStation, but it seems like the bigger stuff like Starfield, Elder Scrolls 6, for example, are obviously going to be on Xbox. But the stuff that's already supported on other platforms are going to continue getting their support. They're not going to get abandoned. So it's not all doom and gloom as far as PlayStation, but at this point, my point of view is simply this. And you can take it for what it's worth. You can disagree if you want. It's a free country. But the best thing you could do is get an Xbox to play Bethesda games. That's just what it comes down to. Because I'd rather play them on Xbox than on my PC personally. So, and if that means that I got to wait to get an Xbox Series X because you still can't get a fucking next-gen system anywhere because retailers seemingly only want to sell them to scalpers and nobody else still.
Mm-hmm.
So until then, and God help Sony and Microsoft if we still can't get a next-gen system like by walking in the store and buying them by the time Starfield comes out next holiday at this point. And if that's the case, I solely blame all retailers for that. I don't blame Sony and Microsoft for any of that. That's on the retailers for going, no, We don't want to risk this, that, and the other thing. We don't want anyone to walk in the store and just buy it. So in other words, you just want to turn people away and piss them off is what you're saying. And this is coming from someone who still works in retail, by the way. So think about that for a minute, folks. Sorry for the rant. I hope I answered your question about what Sony could do to try to compete when it comes to Bethesda.
Basically trying to buy out EA, which would be a hard thing to do.
It's impossible because, first of all, EA has a big partnership with Game Pass, first of all, because all of the old stuff is on Game Pass. And EA Play subscription is a part of your Game Pass subscription if you subscribe to Game Pass Ultimate. So, yeah, so buying EA just isn't going to happen because of their partnership with Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you were to, say, go buy, like, a smaller publisher like 2K, if you could afford to do that, that would be interesting.
I can see that happening.
I don't know if Sony's got the money to do it, because then you would be getting, like, for example, the Borderlands series is probably the most famous series from 2K for me, other than the BioShock series. But there hasn't been a BioShock game since, like, 2010, though. Give or take.
But if Sony does buy 2K, this could spur them to make another BioShock.
Who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
But on the other side of that coin, there is one thing that Sony could do to properly compete with Xbox right now that doesn't involve them actually buying anybody out at all. For me, at least.
And that is?
And that's properly competing with Game Pass.
Adding more titles, adding new titles, then you download games.
Not so much that. If you want to properly compete with Game Pass, Sony, this is what you got to do with PlayStation Now. Well, first of all, rebrand it, get rid of that stupid fuck name, and just call it PlayStation Plus. But this is what you do with it. Sorry. For your subscription to PlayStation Plus, you get the free games that you usually get every month, whatever. You also get the access to the digital library that you would get in what's currently known as PlayStation Now to download and play. And screw this stupid stream PS3 stuff. Either have it downloadable or don't have it in there at all. That's just my opinion. So have your back catalog of PS4 games and PS5 games if you own a PS5.
And should they have something like the Switch has with Super Nintendo and Nintendo?
Well,
not those brands, of course, but for PlayStation.
Maybe, but the big point is in PlayStation Plus, then, if you subscribe to it, online play is included in the subscription. You don't have to go out and subscribe to another thing to get online play. It's included.
Should that include online talk then, too?
Online is online, dude.
Right.
So, yes. And if you want to give people a reason to support it, as opposed to Game Pass or Xbox to compete, which is what you should be trying to do, which is Microsoft is doing with you, but Sony's just sitting on their top of their mountain going, nothing's wrong. What's that sound down there?
Sony blowing up substantially.
No, the sound down below you, Sony, is Microsoft making some fucking noise, is what that is.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to what would make PlayStation Now viable. On top of all of that, I'm not saying you have to release every game day and date, but at least some day and date of your exclusives when they come out in into your subscription service. That'll get people to subscribe to it. That will get attention to it. Look at what day and date first party games to Game Pass is doing for Xbox. You can't sit there and tell me that, oh, it's a dumb move, it's this, that, and the other thing. It's adding value to the fucking platform. It's giving people a reason to probably save money on playing games each and every single fucking month.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? I really like that idea about buying 2K.
Yeah, I'm not surprised because you're a sports fanboy.
Yeah.
But also keep in mind that they also have the Need for Speed series as well. So, in the case of 2K.
Mm-hmm.
But it is what it is. But with that being said, do you have any other questions?
No, that pretty much does it. I hope this was a long enough show for you.
Well, it was your idea to do this. I just went along with it because you wanted to have this discussion on the channel, and I was willing to do it. So, I hope everyone enjoys. What's that?
So for PlayStation to be competitive with Bethesda, they need to open up their library on PlayStation Now, and they probably need to buy 2K. Is that correct?
Do some of the stuff that Game Pass has been doing, and then, well, if they do that alone, then I probably would be interested in PlayStation Now at that point, or whatever it's called by that point. In terms of exclusives, well, Sony should just keep what they're doing what they're doing with their exclusives, because you can say what you want about the two platforms, but this much has always been true. Sony has always had the higher end, better exclusives over Xbox over the course of the previous generation here.
And have most of those been through Sony Studios?
Yes.
Which has opened up the show to Xbox, so...
But on the opposite side of that, something that I do want to bring to your attention that I did talk about in the Drew That Games podcast earlier with Desert Nord, Sony is being complete fucking assholes to you indie developers, as in, when a publisher or developer has their game on the storefront on PlayStation, they have to pay, for example, for that game to go on sale. The problem is that Sony demands that AAA developers and indie developers pay the exact same thing, and in some cases, this price is more than the budget of a lot of indie games themselves.
Which they should be really giving a cut
to the indie devs, yeah.
Right.
And it's also indie devs being charged the same price just to put the damn game on PlayStation anyway.
And plus, if they do that, they're pushing away titles from PlayStation.
Yeah, which is already happening because I'm hearing on social media that many indie devs are going to Xbox and Nintendo and Steam instead, even now. So this isn't a good look for Sony PlayStation, which will only mean that they'll just be an exclusive box before too long at this point.
So pretty much they'll just have Sony Studios to rely upon in the future, probably.
And then EA when Madden comes out, and FIFA, and Battlefield, and Activision with Call of Duty, and that's largely it. Oh, and Far Cry. That reminds me, who the hell's making Far Cry? I can't remember. Fuck. I don't don't want to search YouTube for that. Fuck.
Who's making Far Cry?
Ubisoft, okay.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. I just want to make sure that it wasn't 2K or something. Because then that would have meant what I said earlier. Far Cry could have been exclusive to PlayStation if considering what I was saying earlier. But
the
yeah,
other studio to buy is Ubisoft.
I doubt that, especially with the rumors of Ubi Play potentially one day making its way to Game Pass. And if that's the case, Sony's fucked at that point.
I'll probably wind up getting a Switch pretty soon.
At some point, you're going to have to think about getting an Xbox either way, so.
Yeah.
Just saying. So, with that being said, everybody, anything else before I do an outro?
Go ahead with the outro.
Alright, so, from Drew and CD, thank you for tuning in. What are you going to be up to after we get done with this?
I'll be playing 2K Golf, show. I'm thinking about probably in NBA 2K21 again since they fixed the game this past year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically it.
Alright. I'm probably going to finish my pop, play a little Madden 21 before I go to bed because I have to be at work at about 4 o'clock in the morning, so.
By the way, did they fix it?
Did who fix what?
Madden 21.
No.
So it still has the same bugs in it?
Yeah, you still can't practice outside of the preseason. When it comes to playing as a player in the franchise mode, because I usually play as a quarterback or something along those lines. And you basically get to practice 4 times. That's basically throughout the preseason, and then you're better off just simming the rest of them throughout the rest of your career for the most part. And then once in a while, you'll get like another 4 practices or something like that to run through. Otherwise, the practices glitch the fuck out, and all you're doing is stuck in Skycam form, just staring at the practice field with everybody on it, or nobody at all at that point. So, no, it's not fixed. But with that being said, everyone, like I said earlier, go check out the Judat Games podcast where Desert Nord and I talk about a number of things. There's also Breaking Rocks on the channel where Desert Nord and I talk about social issues in the country and also talk about Star Wars, books, comic books, music, movies, TV shows, and pretty much anything that's not gaming related as much as possible. Then occasionally we do bring up one gaming topic here and there if it's something that we can't save for the gaming podcast at that point. Oh, and also up on Judat Gaming right now is the latest edition of Desert Nord and I playing Gang Beasts together on Xbox. So we did that twice over the last couple weeks, so go check that out. I was actually watching a little of that before I started this with CD, and I was laughing at my own comments and Desert Nord's comments to me as well. So go check that out as well, guys. With that being said, hope you guys have a good evening, morning, or afternoon, wherever you are. Have a good evening, CD.
You too, my man.
And you guys in YouTube land, I will see you, it's Wednesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
I will see you guys possibly Friday, depending on if any of the PlayStation Plus games are worth doing. on PlayStation Plus Friday this week. If not, then I will see you Monday for the other Games with Gold game that I intend to play on Monday. With that being said, guys, I'll see you either Friday or Monday, one of the two. Later.
Later.